Hey, everybody, welcome to the Sunset Ridge Race Report, the Triple Crown for the Pro Class. I got Kinsey Osborn and Adam Ulrich. Hey, you guys were the ones that did the pre-race report with me. Unfortunately, Leon couldn't make it with us, but hey, thank you guys so much for stepping in and taking over this little job that reporting on these races. You guys just chime in whenever you have something to say. What was the turnout like?
The turnout, it seemed pretty much the same as it has been so far this year. I didn't really think that many people were there, but I wasn't paying too close attention to like the spectators, I guess, for the most part.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
say the turnout was pretty similar to Iron Man, probably a little over 400, so not bad.
No,
yeah.
that's good. That's good. Adam, you could turn that volume down just a hair because you come through really strong.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say it was very similar to Iron Man. Definitely more than a Chicani and like Sugar Tree. I don't know, maybe like Sugar Tree is the same too, but definitely more than a Chicani, I would say the first round.
Do you think that because when we talked on the pre-race, the track was smooth and groomed. Do you think that it got rougher, like we guessed?
It definitely didn't get as rough as it was in previous years. I was surprised the next day the track was actually like the same as it was Friday. They touched it up quite a bit with the bulldozer. They went through and knocked down certain sections like right after the start, the whole shot, and a couple other like gnarly turns that didn't get too bad this year, but they were managing it a lot on Saturday, which I was shocked. I thought it would be the complete opposite. Like we talked about on the pre-race, I thought it was gonna be super smooth on Friday and then Saturday, completely different track, how it usually is. But yeah, I was shocked that it wasn't as rough as I anticipated, which was nice, but I kind of wish it did get a little rougher than it was.
The videos I got to see, it seemed like it was pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Almost looked like, a freight train. It was just all gas and you didn't have to really worry about much.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's because the track's losing a little bit of sand, maybe. Or, I mean, I would say, or they didn't rip it deep, but I said that on the pre-race live, and it turns out that they did. I heard from someone else that they did rip it for Friday practice pretty deep, but for some reason it's just not really getting beat up like it used to. So,
Yeah, I think it was they just did a really good job of touching up the track on Saturday. Just every couple motos they would bulldoze a section. They made sure that the track was safe because I felt like the track would get really, really rough um if they didn't keep touching it up. So yeah, they did a great
yeah.
job maintaining the track.
So basically what you're saying is hats off to the track crew because they did an amazing job.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I think they did great. And I feel like throughout the three races in the pro, the lap times are all pretty similar. So they didn't let the track go too much, and the whole day we pretty much ran similar lap times.
Well, then they were doing their job. The first class we're going to jump into is pro sport. The same guys that we talked about in the pro sport seem to rise to the occasion. I don't know if you guys have the results in front of you, but Damien Hubert put in a pretty good ride. He seemed to rise to the occasion going 2-1. Cale Deal went 1-3. So he had it there, but with that three there, he just couldn't seem to pull it off. And no, Arnel came bouncing back from the last round and put himself on the podium. Unfortunately, that bumped Cody right off of the podium there. So I don't know, if, Kinsey, if you got to watch many of those, or even if you did, Adam, but those guys were I guess battling pretty hard.
Yeah, I actually didn't really get to watch much of pro sport since I am usually right before they go. But I do tend to listen on the announcements, because the radio plays in my trailer and I hear it. But I just want to say, even though I didn't watch pro sport, that I was just shocked. Like the whole weekend, I was shocked that Cody Houghton was doing as good as he did, because I kind of anticipated him. I mean, I don't want to say I didn't think he was going to do good on this kind of sand track, but like we said in the pre-race live, he is definitely more skilled on the hard pack tracks since he does come from a TT background. So I was really shocked to see him do as good and as consistent as he did the whole weekend.
Yeah, well, he did pretty dang good, you know,
Yeah,
running a third and a fourth. Um, Couple different things change, and he's in third or even farther up the deal. Does anybody know what happened to Heath Hanna in the first moto?
Oh, I didn't get to watch any of the motos on Saturday, but yeah, I did hear that Heath something happened to Heath, and I don't know exactly what happened to him. But he was also riding very, very good. I felt like there was like a good 5 or 6 guys that were pretty much running the same lap times. I was looking at lap times uh after the weekend, and it was it was pretty much like who could get a good hole shot and who made the least amount of mistakes. Like we saw a bunch of guys flip flop in between motos. Like Cale went 1-3, and Noah and Damien, they were all right there. It was all just some really good racing. And Ethan was obviously in that group too.
How about Zachary?
yeah.
I can't pronounce the guy's last name. I apologize. Leon normally gets it for me. But he is a name and a guy that usually is bouncing around there up in the top. I don't know who Carter Buff is. I don't remember talking about him. Gage Beebe seems to have improved. But here's a name from the West Coast, Cody Sanford came out and rode a Honda in the pro sport class. He's a pro rider from Works.
Really.
Yeah,
I heard, I saw that there, I mean, I'm sure you'll get into it later, but I saw that there was another rider in the pro class, and I thought he was from the Work Series, but I didn't hear about the pro sport rider.
I didn't know that he had went and um, uh, you know, uh, yeah, there he is. And Kenneth Sanford also in pro sport. So there's two guys from the West Coast in that class. Um, That's
Wow.
pretty
Yeah.
awesome. I think they probably had something to do with getting Travis Damon out there, who rode in the pro class.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
watching both those guys on Friday, and they were keeping up. They were keeping up with Damon, Kale, Noah, and stuff like that. And I was honestly really impressed. I was like, "Whoa, who are these guys?" But yeah, they're super fast. They definitely rip.
Yeah, and they're not used to a motocross platform. They're used to running works where it's an hour and a half race. There's some jumps, but nothing like you guys have to deal with. I mean, I don't think Sunset Ridge is overly large jumps. I could.
No. Yeah, that is part of the reason why I like it. Um, I have been learning to like the bigger jumps, and getting more comfortable with them, but I have always liked Sunset because of the layout and that just wasn't like super huge, scary jumps. Not like, I guess intimidating is a better word, but yeah, the biggest jump on the track, I don't know how many feet it is, but it's really not that bad compared to like some of the jumps at Ironman and other tracks, but yeah.
Well, you don't, and I'm not trying to, just toot your horn because you're here, but I don't seem to see you having any issues with those jumps, whether you like to jump them or not. It
Mhm.
doesn't seem to hinder you at all.
No, it's just mainly a mental thing for me, until I actually do it. But that's kind of the case for a lot of things. But yeah, I'll get worked up about just thinking about hitting a jump before I hit it. And then once I hit it, I'm like, oh, that was kind of silly to be stressing about to the level that I was. But yeah, that was just a mental thing for me when it comes to jumps like that.
Adam, I'm going to ask you this, and then Kinsey, you can chime in. When you're out there and you're trying to set yourself up in a specific section, and you always have that guy or a couple different riders that you can line up with or follow through a section to help you time it. Um, that's normally the way I always learned, the way I've heard other riders learn, is you get that person that's going through there really smooth and fast, and you just follow them through.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think what's helped me the most would be practicing with the pro sport and pro am. Well, pro sport slash college slash A. Just that big general practice group. It's like the fastest practice group on Friday. I will follow those guys up jumps I haven't hit before, and I'll follow them through sections and see they're taking lines that I've never even really thought to take, and I'm just like, oh, and then I start going there and it's faster or smoother or whatever. And yeah, I would say I've learned a lot just from practice groups that I am in. So
Yeah, and I have 15 guys that have been racing almost twice as long as me and are obviously rippers, and they've been in this sport forever. So it's
I don't know what happened to him. He was right
yeah,
midstream.
he froze.
Yeah, he
He
froze.
froze for me too.
I bet you he pops back here any second, and we'll just go on with it. But it is a way to handle it is to find somebody that's faster and do their lines. I remember when I was out practicing with Doug Eichner, and he said, "Just follow me, just follow me."
Yeah,
Okay, dude, I didn't want to do those jumps. It's all right.
yeah. Yeah, it's more, yeah, I don't want to do them either, but it's more like I have to do them. There's all these people in my class are doing them, so I'm doing it now. But
Right. Right.
usually after I hit the jump or whatever it is, I feel a lot better and a lot more relieved and just, yeah. That was the case actually for me at Ironman. I don't know if you've seen the videos of the big, like some people call it a triple, but it's more like a huge tabletop in the center that shoots you really high. But
I saw some of the pictures. Adam,
yeah.
I don't know what happened, bro, but you were midstream and you cut off.
oh, I'm sorry. I don't
He's doing
Okay.
it. It's okay, man. It's okay. We're gonna catch up on this WMX class. Um, we're gonna rely a little bit on you, Kinsey, to talk us through this. I don't know if you got to watch much of it, Adam, but we did talk in the pre-race about that third, fourth, fifth, sixth place. These ladies seem to be holding their line and keeping it exactly the same way. Um, I'm going to butcher this. Taygun. It seems,
Yeah, that's right. I'm pretty sure.
yeah. I've invited her to come on the podcast, and she accepted. So we'll have her on in a couple weeks. But she ran that 3-3. Olivia Joyner went 4-4, and Shelby went a 7-5. I don't know what happened to her. India was in there, and same with Alice. And these ladies just seem to be mixing it back up.
Yeah, I think this is Taken's second year on a 450, I believe, and she has like or maybe it's her first year. I could be wrong. But regardless, her speed, even in these past couple rounds, I feel like has improved a ton. Like we're seeing a little more consistent results from her now. She got the third place last round and then this round. I think she could easily become the third place girl. Like she could easily become the consistent podium spot. Um, she's just, I don't know. I don't know what's gotten into her or if she's just gotten more seat time, but she's definitely gaining more speed out there on the track, and so are the rest of the girls. But I think Tegan's really got well, I don't know how to put it into words, but I just think she really has everything clicking for her right now, which is cool to see.
Right, right. I totally agree. I am excited to watch the consistency and the competitiveness in the class. Also, with the front runners, you and Emma seem to be having a really good battle. She got the overall this round. You guys went 1-2, She went 2-1. That's not normal for Kinsey, but what's going on out there on the track?
Yeah, so I would say first moto, I mean, I pulled the whole shot pretty clean, with that TDR power I got. But pulled the whole shot and kind of just ran my own race out there sort of by myself. I mean, I feel like that was the case at Ironman as well. And I'm starting to notice the trend where if I start in front and stay far enough ahead in the first moto, Emma doesn't really try. I could be just making it up, but it doesn't seem like she tries as hard since she knows, I mean, she can go 2-1 instead of 1-2. I don't think she wants to waste all her energy in the first moto, so she kind of just stays back and lets me do my thing. And then second moto, she is out for blood. I'll tell you that. Um, Second moto, I pulled the whole shot again, and this time she's right behind me. Um, my main thing this weekend was to stay calm and smooth, I guess, smooth and smart instead of pushing out of control and making mistakes like I did at Ironman in the second moto, but I ended up getting the overall win that time with a little bit of luck by my side. But second moto, I was out front. I mean, I should have been, but I wasn't pushing as hard as I could go, mainly because I didn't want to fatigue fast. I didn't want to get arm pump as fast, mainly. But I knew I had it under control. I knew it would be hard for her to pass me unless she pulled something crazy. uh, which ended up being on the beginning of the third lap. She got really close. There was this one turn, it's kind of weird. It's really slick on the inside. It's like the slickest, like TT kind of turn. And it's so strange that a track like Sunset Ridge has that kind of turn, like no sand really in it. It's like just big, slick, not really any, there's a big rut in the turn, but there's no like two lines through the turn. It's just like one way, unless you wanted to like skate around the inside and slide around. So, I was coming into that turn just using the berm, and I didn't really know. I never looked back to see I knew she was behind me, but I didn't know like if she was like an inch behind me or like a few feet. But then it turns out she came trying to pass me in that corner, which you can fit two quads side by side. It's just really slick since it's so like it's like blue grooved hard pack through there. It's so weird. But she tries to make the pass there, but I mean she had to be coming in like full speed, no brakes, not really in control because she didn't really try to like sneak by me. She just straight up like T-boned me, and her front left tire climbed over my right tire. And I guess that's when she hit my shock. And then she was going so fast, she kept going past after she rolled over my tire, over the big one single rut that's in that turn, and then off the track. And when I was watching this all happen, I just ended up stalling my bike and I just stopped in the turn. Like I didn't come off for anything. But I was watching her and I was like, oh, she's gonna come off the bike, you know? I was like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? But it turns out she stayed on and she looked back at me as soon as she got off the track, and her bike never stalled out. She kept going, and it took me a couple seconds to get mine started and going again. And by that time, it was pretty much too late. I mean, the rest of the moto, I just was kind of behind her a few seconds. I don't know. I mean, there's not really much you can say, or there's no excuse I can make really for not pushing harder, I guess, those last couple laps. But I don't know. It's definitely not the type of racing I'm used to against the WMX riders, but I've been learning a lot so far this year. And I know now that not being aggressive and not being nice doesn't win you motos. So I gotta start really taking it to him, I guess.
So
So
when the
that's
green
basically the
uh,
recap.
so when the green flag drops, there's no more niceties.
Yeah, no, not anymore.
Well,
Let me just say, the WMX is like I don't get to watch many races on Saturday, but I always try to make it to the WMX races because this year with Kenzie and Emma, it's been probably some of the best racing I've seen in a while between two riders. So it's always awesome, especially that battle at Ironman. It's probably one of the greatest races I ever watched. I was so pumped for Kenzie when she got that
Really.
win. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that this year, and it's actually, I mean, yeah, this kind of competition is like stressful for me and like I'm not used to it, but at the same time I see like people like Adam just said saying like it's the best racing they've seen all year, and actually I forget what post it was on Instagram. It might have just been the ATV motocross page or the Digging Deep page, but someone commented, can we get this on live television instead of the pros? And then they were like, I'd rather watch this than the pro class or something like along those lines. And I just thought that was so cool because I mean, WMX in the past hasn't gotten as much attention or hype as the pros, and for people to be saying that they'd rather watch us instead of them now is really cool to me, I think.
well, the first year when Neve Shaw and Andrea Berger were there, or Andrea Stark, excuse me, you guys were always mixing it up. Then it became the Kinsey Osborn show, and now it's you and Emma Ray. Um, I wanted to ask you a question and going back, Adam, I want you to chime in on this too, as well. So you talk about close racing and being in there, handlebar to handlebar. What's it like when you get into four stroke A compared to being out there with Emma? I mean, you have to be handlebar to handlebar with these guys, and I'm guaranteed that half of them don't want to get beat by a girl, or excuse
Yeah,
me, they don't want to get beat by a woman.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of the guys in 450A think about me a lot more than I think about them. Um, I never really line up on the gate thinking like, oh, I'm just a girl. Like, I'm kind of like used to it, and like, I mean, I see myself as not a boy. I'm not trying to say that, but I just don't
Another
really
racer.
see a difference in me compared to the rest of the people on the gate. So for me, it's normal, but I'm sure some of the guys, I know my friend Lane McDaniel, he races 450A, and he's just always, I feel like always worried about beating me, or because I have beat him the past few rounds, and I could tell he's a little down about it at times, but he did get me back this weekend. Um, but yeah, 450A, I really like racing that class, but I also haven't had too much aggression to deal with from the guys. I don't know if they're like, I don't really know if they're like just showing me some respect because I'm a girl and they don't want to hurt me, or I don't know. I just really haven't dealt with anything that aggressive, like passing wise, or any really tangle ups so far, at least. But in the B class a couple years ago, I was dealing with that all the time. So I don't really know what changed there. But yeah, 450A is pretty chill. It's not too aggressive. I mean, yeah, people will bump each other, but most of those guys make pretty smooth and clean passes for the most part.
Well, it's probably the skill levels going up, but you jump into that pro sport class, they're racing for blood, so
Oh yeah,
you're gonna
I'm
have to
sure.
you're gonna have to step it up. And yeah, nothing against the pros, nothing, Adam, I don't take this the wrong way, but you know, Joel is doing something that no other professional ATV motocross guy has ever done. He is just flat dominating everyone, and he's not doing it in just a squeak fashion. He's just going out there and punching him in the face and saying, "Get in out of my way. I'm going to win. I don't care." And some spectators are not wanting to see it anymore. They want to see, more competitiveness. Me, on the other hand, you know, if that's the best guy and he can win, that's the guy that's going to win, you know?
Yeah, and I mean Joel's doing something special right now, and yeah, we're trying to beat him at like we're trying everything we can to beat him, but yeah, I think the best thing about ATV motocross is that there's not only one pro class, there's pro am, there's WMX, there's pro sport riders, there's all different high skill classes that people can come and go watch. You know, I mean, so it's not like you go to a race just to watch the pros. There's 34 other races that are going on that day that put on great battles and stuff like that. And maybe the pros might be the fastest, but I mean, people come to watch good racing, and I felt like in the especially the pro am, pro sport, and the WMX classes, especially this weekend, they were really good to watch.
Yeah, I know. I've seen a couple races, but one that really stood out to me was it was either a super mini class or 90 auto. There was like the top three riders were all battling the entire race for first place. Like all three kids were chasing each other around the track, passing each other. One was passing two of them, and then the other was passing one, back and forth the whole race. And I was like, wow, all the way to the checkers, they were like passing each other, and it was just crazy. And I mean, there's always some battles like that, but that one stood out to me the most in the amateur side this weekend. And the girls class has been really interesting to watch. There's a lot more girls in it now, for one. A couple years ago there was only like maybe 4 or 5 total, but the top three girls in that class are switching it up each round pretty much. And those same girls, like Madison Shepherd is one of them. She races some other class. I don't remember if she's on a 70 or 90 now, but she races against the boys and whoops on them pretty good. Um, she gets like top three against the guys in those classes too. But yeah, there's a lot of good racing. Definitely like Adam said, not everyone comes just for one class in particular, but I think that's what makes the sport so great and versatile. But
Exactly. You know what I forgot to mention when we were talking about WMX? Andrea Stark came out and raced. She's a mom now, and she hasn't raced for what, 2 years?
really,
And she ran the first moto with you.
I I don't really know that many past WMX riders. I know Angela Moore, and I mean that's kind of about it. I'm not very educated like that.
You dethroned Andrea, so she was a three-time,
Well, I mean,
you know.
if sh I mean, if she's not, that's like saying if I came out and ride like 10 years after, I don't know how long after you stop racing. I mean, it's different. Like by then it's like you got all these other things going on in your life, and it's just you can't really compare that, I don't think,
I
to
was just
me
making
now.
it was great that she came out and rode.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, yeah. Someday there'll be someone, I don't know, maybe someday I'll be that person that comes back and they're like 10 times slower than they used to be. But I mean, at that point, it's just for memories and fun. But I don't really know what I'm trying to say here, but
Well, yeah, I get it. I get it. So we made a comment, you guys made a comment about Pro-Am and Joey Norris. You know, it looked like he was going to win every moto. He was really intent on, you know, dominating the class and winning the championship. Well, he didn't win both motos. Noah Arnel won the second moto. Um, Joey still got the overall going 1-2 because Noah went 3-1. But that's pretty awesome that Noah's bounced back that hard from the last round, not having such a great deal. You know, he's finished farther back in the pack, and this time he comes out, you know, and wins a moto. I don't know if you guys
mm,
even knew that. And there again, Cody put on what a great ride, ending up in third with a 2-3. You know,
yeah.
yeah, wow.
Yeah, I got to watch that one. I got to watch both motos, but yeah, that second moto, I believe Noah led start to finish. Um, I think he got the whole shot, I'm pretty sure. My memory's a little foggy, but he rode great this weekend. I don't really know like if it was anything in particular that really clicked or if he's just finally getting the seat time that he needed and hasn't gotten because I mean Ohio's weather these past few weeks slash like past month has just been terrible. Like rain, it's been cold. It still is kind of cold. It kind of warmed up today. But it's just been really bipolar weather, I would say. So I myself, like a few weeks ago, out between like Sugar Tree to Ironman, just haven't been able to ride that much because it's raining all the time. But yeah, Noah rode great this weekend. Um, yeah, I don't
I
know.
think I think Noah. I mean, all those. I mean, between Joey, Cody, and Noah, they were all like really really close. I got to watch both motos, and the first moto was great because Joey got the whole shot, and Noah and Cody were battling. Noah made one mistake, and Cody was able to get by him, but. Yeah, they were all running the same exact lap times, everything. It was all based on like one mistake. Noah made one mistake, and Cody was able to get by him for the second place in Moto 1. And then Moto 2, Noah just was able to get a lead and kind of run away with it. But yeah, it was great racing. And, there wasn't anything that Noah, Cody, and Joey were really doing different from each other.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is Cale Deal and Damien Hubert and Heath Hanna and Gage Beebe, they all seem to mix it up a little bit. Heath did better. He had a 9.5. Something going on with him in those first motos. He just can't seem to make it better. But Cody just knocked those guys right off the podium. He
Yeah.
doesn't seem.
Yeah. That
He had
um
like a big crash, I think the first
yeah,
moto. And
that's what I was
yeah,
about
I
to
was
say.
honestly surprised that he was able to get up at like as fast as he did and was able to finish the moto.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
I
ended up
watched
ninth.
him. He went down in the turn after the whole shot going up the hill. Yeah, he just like I don't know, I guess he just crashed and burned and took him a minute to get back up, but once he got going, about half a lap after he got going, he was going full speed again. So the kid's got grit for sure.
Yeah, I that's why I bring him up every time because everything I see, every video I see, everything I hear about him, because I hear things through the grapevine, everybody talks about, if this kid had any luck at all, he'd probably be winning races.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's just always got something going on, kind of like Brandon Hogue in pro class, or even Adam in pro class, if we want to go there.
We'll,
Um,
we'll get
yeah,
there. We'll get there. Yeah,
he's
Adam,
always
when were
either
you in this
crashing or getting
lineup?
stuck, or I don't know. But
Yeah, the
yeah,
two West
Heath, if
Coast
he
guys,
had a good moto, he would do really good, especially on the sandy tracks.
the two West Coast guys ended up there too as well. Adam, get yourself back here, boy. He turned himself off. Yeah, great racing and super competitive. They're missing a couple guys in the class. I don't know exactly who.
Yeah, there was I was surprised to see that because it's like pro sport has the divisions and then you get to pro am and it's not even a full gate. So I don't know what's up with
Only had
that.
11 entries in that, and only 10 of them
Yeah.
started in the second moto, and they're usually 18, 19 people. So they're missing a
Yeah.
couple riders. I don't know why exactly.
Yeah, that seemed to be the case at Ironman too. I'm not sure why, but maybe just because it's a Sunday and I don't know. Maybe people got places to be instead of pro am. I don't know.
it's kind of a bad that they're not staying for the pro am.
Yeah.
You really wanted Adam's input in this, but we'll just run with you. How about that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Did he
Um,
get disconnected or
I think he got disconnected. He might be having a
yeah.
Wi-Fi issue. Could have had a
Yeah.
phone call. Not really sure. Um, we can start down in the order. Brandon Hogue, you know,
Yeah.
a 16th and a 12th and a 5th.
Yeah, I know he went down in, I don't remember which race, but he went down in the whole shot in one of the motos.
Probably,
Uh,
probably when he was back in the back,
yeah.
Adam, there you are. What's up, buddy?
You guys keep freezing for me, so I had to leave and join
Comes and
back. I'm sorry.
goes.
Check that Wi-Fi, bro. Check that Wi-Fi. Hey, do you know what happened to Brandon Hogue in the first moto?
Uh, First moto. I think he I know Kevin Sar did, oh no, Brandon blew up the first moto, I think. I think he had mechanical issues
Uh,
again, which is terrible. But yeah.
Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
yeah, that is. Max Lindquist didn't have a very good race either.
Yeah. I mean, so the first race was going like everyone was standing up and doing great, and then the last two laps, a lot of people fell off. I think Sar fell off. Max Lindquist got tangled up with Kevin Sar, and I think he snapped a shock in half, his front shock in half, and he was riding around the track on like a tilt, which was
Oh,
kind of crazy to see. But yeah, he was able to finish. Yeah, Hogue was out. And I think something else happened with Sar. So yeah, a bunch of like kind of everything kind of fell apart for those three riders with 2 laps to go. And then I was running, I think ninth or 10th place behind Joey Norris, and I crashed with like 2 turns to go in the roller section, like a complete goon, and like really messed up my machine and body that really hindered me for the rest of the weekend.
well, in the third moto, you pulled off a ninth, so you must have been doing something different.
Yeah, well, I crashed the first moto, and then the second moto from the I was messed my knee was like really messed up from the first moto. It got like swollen up like really bad, and I was like trying to stretch it out and see if I could do anything, but I ended up like, and then the sight lap of the second moto, my clutch cable broke on the sight lap. So I had my mechanic push me across the gate, and I like stomped into first gear to get across the whole shot. And then I was running really good. I think I was running ninth with no clutch. And then I hit this hole, and because my knee, because I was straight legged, just shot me right over the bars. I ended up like yard sailing through the whole shot area again. So yeah, I crashed twice in the first two motos, but yeah, I was able to do something decent and finish ninth the third moto.
Yeah, there's a lot of the results through, all the way down through change quite a bit, from seventh place down. Zach Decker looked like he was going to have a pretty good weekend, and then in the third moto, he got a 13th. I figured he would be up closer to the top five because it was a sand track.
Yeah. I think everyone just finished so like kind of everywhere just because of the Triple Crown format mostly. The shorter motos. Um, I don't know. I just remember watching the first moto specifically and seeing like you had Joel out front, Bryce, whatever, and then you got to everyone after them was just like one after the other. Like they were all chasing each other, right on each other's grab bars, like the whole moto. There's just like a big pack of like 6 or 7 of them just all in a line, and they just couldn't get around each other. I didn't see like any of the crashes really, or anything that happened in the backside because I wasn't at a good watching spot. But yeah, I just remember seeing them all come across the line all at once, and I'm just like, I mean, I guess they couldn't find anywhere to pass.
Is
It's
it
kind of
Oh,
hard to, I
yeah,
mean,
a lot
there's
of people
passing
had
options,
yeah, a
but
lot
like,
of people had their struggles. Like the first laps, like Max Lindquist crashed. I think Zach stalled out twice the third moto. I believe that's
yeah.
what I heard in the third moto, and yeah, just craziness. Something happened with Kevin Sar. Like Yeah, Nick Janusa
Yeah.
didn't really have any good hole shots, so he was battling up through the pack. So I think the Triple Crown definitely did its purpose, and maybe not in the front, it made good racing, but in the back, we were all scrambled up, and it was fun for sure.
Do you think that some of the tracks are suffering from not having enough passing lanes?
I
No, I
go
think
ahead, Adam.
I think I think for at least in the pro class, I think it makes it more interesting because um it makes it for closer racing. When we have a lot of passing, it makes the front guys kind of spread out more and easier to get through the pack, which at this point in the pro class, that's kind of what we not want. We kind of want Joel and Bryce to kind of have mid pack starts, and then we're going to try to hold them off as much as possible. So I think in the pro class, it makes for better racing, and I think this track, I mean, since they bulldozed it, wasn't super 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 rough. Um, there wasn't much of a skill gap, which made all of us really close and made some good racing.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Adam, but coming from my um perspective, I love when tracks have good passing options. That's just me though, but I think Sunset had good passing lanes, but I mean, if someone's your speed and you're taking the fastest line, I mean, it's going to be hard to pass. That's on any track, but I would say Sunset is actually one of the more or one of the tracks that have the most passing options, especially compared to like Sugar Tree. I haven't been to Tomahawk, so I can't really speak for that one, but the rest of the schedule, there's decent passing options for each of those tracks, but I would say Sunset Ridge has the most out of all of them, and probably Iron Man. But yeah, I like to be able to pass people, but that's just I like to be able to pass people um easily. Not easily, that's a bad word, but you know what
Right.
I'm
I
saying.
understand.
I
I
don't like
understand.
having to like spend that much time behind someone when I could have passed them if I had a different line option like 10 turns ago, you know.
Exactly. I really like to see, fourth, fifth, and sixth, Jeffrey Rosselli, Mason Jackson, and Wesley Wolf. These three guys seem to be fairly consistent, missing one or two places, to keep them from, ending up a position higher in the end results. Um, you could almost say Nick was in there too, but they just Wesley Wolf, ran a 6.67. Um, Mason had a third with a seventh and a sixth. So, he wasn't quite as consistent. Maybe he had bad starts in those first and third motos, but it's good to see them running up there and battling it out. I really like to see Jeffrey up there, because he is the old veteran, and he may not have as many seasons left as some of those kids, especially that kid behind him, Mason. It's only his
Yeah.
second year as a pro, so
Mason, he actually it was really cool. Mason pulled the second and third moto hole shots. And I forget if it was the second or the third moto, but he led actually a good like 3 full laps before Joel passed him and then Bryce. But that was really cool to see. Mason, like we said in the pre-race live, he does good on the sand, being from Michigan. But in general, I feel like Mason has podium in him coming up soon. I would say by the end of this season, Mason Jackson will be on the podium, if not beginning of next year. I mean, that kid, he's got a lot going for him, and he has just started. So I thought that was really cool that he got the whole shot and he rode good. Wesley Wolf he's always been a strong rider. He's also, the unfortunate part for him is his luck. And he also is just one of those guys that doesn't get to spend 24/7 on racing, you know. I mean, I know a lot of the other pros have jobs and not all the time in the world to just ride, but Wesley Wolf he's like the true example of that. He kind of just, I don't know how much he rides in between rounds, but I've got the idea that it's not a lot. And for him to still show up and do as good as he does, it's really impressive.
If I had money, there's 3 or 4 guys in here. I'd just like to, put them under it
Yeah,
and say, okay, all you got to do is race. Let's work it.
right.
But all you guys got to do is train and race because I think that their results would change.
Oh,
Wesley's
for sure.
for sure.
Hmm.
I think Mac
Yeah.
is another one of those guys that would benefit from, just somebody taking care of the setups and the pits and the struggles and the bikes and just let him practice and be ready for racing. Same as Brandon Oak, same way.
Yeah. I mean, of course, if you're riding all the time and that's your only responsibility, I mean, like, of course you're going to be better or the best at it. I mean, like what they say, practice makes perfect, or what I mean, that's like the truest form is guys like Joel and Bryce. I mean, they're the best because they do this and only this pretty much, or this their main focus at least. So, yeah, if people like Wesley or Adam or a lot of those mid-pack pro guys, if they could just get some, I guess, an equal amount of laps as Bryce and Joel, then you see a lot of change in the results and a huge mix in the pro class.
I agree. Chad Weenan did his job coming in 3-4-4, and taking that final spot on the podium. It was good to see him there. Unfortunately for Rastrelli, he did get a couple more points so that he would get himself in that third place position. Um, Bryce led a little, but not enough. Um, I don't know what
Yeah,
Mason, if he gets the whole shot in the first and third moto and then gets a seventh and a sixth, I don't know how he freight trained to the back so fast.
yeah. About Bryce, and my dad was telling me that he was like driving or walking through the pits after, I think it was at autographs on Saturday after the pro motos, and he like told Bryce congrats or good job, and Bryce just shook his head and he was like, no, like he was like, no, I didn't do a good job. Oh, sorry. He was like, no, I didn't do a good job, and he was like, I like Joel passed me so easy. Like I just, it's just surprising to see like I guess see that from someone to his level. I mean, Bryce, I mean, yeah, Joel's fast, but if you look at Bryce alone, I mean, he's not fast. He's the second fastest guy. So it's just like crazy to think that even someone like him is just feeling like he's not fast enough since someone like Joel, he can't keep up with someone like Joel, which is crazy comparison to me. But I found that interesting that Bryce wasn't very happy with his riding on Saturday. But I mean, it's good to have goals, but I mean, if you got to think about it, like we're talking about Joel here. I mean, not that Bryce can't beat him or won't ever beat him, but I mean, I don't know.
And at some point, it's going to happen, whether it's Bryce or
Yeah.
somebody else, somebody's going to beat Joel, whether it be because Joel ages out, whether it becomes somebody raises the bar and gets as fast as Joel. We just don't know. And
Hmm.
Bryce is trying everything in his bag of tricks
Yeah.
to get there.
Yeah. About Mason, I think the one moto he was able to get a third, but the sixth and seventh places, I think it's because it's only his second year, and it was the first time that he was able to get like upfront starts like this. And I know from my experience that if I was able to pull a whole shot, I probably I probably panic and probably tire out, and that's probably what happened to him. I mean, if you look at the guys that beat him, they're guys that have been doing this for almost 10 plus years now, and for it only being his second year, I think he might have got a little nervous and tightened up and just didn't really ride the way he wanted to, but still very, very good finishes and a good glimpse of what could be for Mason in the future.
That's a good analogy, Adam. That it really is, because that's probably what happened. Is he, you could almost roll that into Bryce. How many laps really has Bryce led?
Not a
I'm not
lot,
sure.
You
not a
know,
lot compared to the finishes that he gets. I imagine. I mean, he's been in it for a while, and he has one overall win, but I think probably 90% of the laps that he's ran in the pro class, they've been led by Joel, which is frustrating.
right? And when Joel gets behind you, it's kind of a whole different world. You're a little off settled because that's not the norm, and you have to mentally prepare yourself to be there. You
Yeah.
know, Adam,
Yeah,
for you, it's you're closer to this because you came from an amateur, now you're in the pro class, and there's a mental adjustment.
Oh
Kids,
yeah.
you might get it from going from the B class to the 450A class. There's a mental adjustment. You're going faster, better riders.
yeah.
You have to prepare for it.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because in ATV motocross, like I'm racing guy like my first ever national was 2014, and the guys that were top five in that class, they were Joel Hetrick, Chad Weenan, Wesley Wolf, Jeffrey Rastrelli, and you know, 10 years later, I'm racing those guys, and I used to look up to them and stuff like that. So it is very, very weird, and you almost feel like you don't belong when you're on the gate with them when you pull a start against them and they're behind you. It's a very weird feeling, and I guess you just have to get used to it.
I
Right
mean,
on.
you got to keep in mind, like, not only the mental part of it, but for someone like Mason, it's like, yeah, he's super fast, but when you have someone like Joel Hedrick riding behind you and you want to maintain, you want to lead for as long as you can, I mean, that is pushing a different pace even for Mason. But
Yep.
yeah, that's just something I thought of. Like, if you have the fastest guy behind you, and that's never really happened before, I mean, yeah, you're going to want to go a little faster than you normally do to try to keep that lead as long as you can. So I don't know, he could
Yeah.
have got tired faster, but yeah, it was definitely pushing the pace even for a guy like Mason.
Yeah, yeah, you try to push the pace, you make more mistakes, you get tired a little easier. I mean, knowing Mason and racing against him pretty much my whole career, um, he'll get used to that feeling fast, and I think he's ready now to pull a start and probably give those guys a little bit more competition, and yeah, he's going to keep getting faster and faster.
So the next time you guys head to the starting line is going to be on the 21st, right? At Bud's Creek.
Yes.
Yes.
What do we got to look forward to at Bud's Creek? Is it rougher? Is it more jumps?
Um, oh, probably honestly both. The thing about Budds Creek is it's a hard packed track, but it gets like hard pack rough. Like the ruts get pretty rough in the sense that they just get like holes, like hard packed holes in them and kickers like that. But they also have bigger jumps. Probably the biggest jump on the series, honestly, that big gulp it's called. It's the biggest triple. Um, and there have only been a couple pros hit it. I know Joel did, maybe Bryce Ford. Um, who else? I know Joey Norris hit it one year. There could be a few others, but that track,
Yeah.
it's kind of, I mean, that track is really technical, I would say, like extremely technical.
Isn't that where Bryce was leading and he was hitting it and Joel wasn't? And Joel was still maintaining a close gap.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah, I think Budds Creek it's honestly gonna be a lot different than Sunset. I mean, it's hard packed and it's also very technical, but it's also a lot faster. I mean, we're going to be going a lot higher speeds, so I think for me in training, it's in between these rounds, I want to get on faster tracks, get used to that faster speeds, and be able to be more comfortable running that faster pace. But yeah, it's a very long track, a lot of elevation and stuff like that. So yeah, it's some good racing there.
It's
Yeah, I would
awesome.
also say it's also really easy to kind of get out of control and make a mistake on that track, I've noticed. With the elevation and the way the lines develop. Um, I feel like a lot more accidents kind of happen there, a lot more crashes. So, there'll for sure be some action going on at Bud's.
Yeah.
Keep your focus is what you're saying.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome.
And I would say the only thing I'm not really a fan of on that track is the start. Start, it's kind of sketchy. It's like the starting gate's in the middle of the track, kind of, and then you go around, and the first turn is like a flat 180, and then you go up this moderately large step up jump, and it's kind of like a question of like, is like whoever is in front of me, are they gonna hit it the first flat, like right, like literally 10 seconds after leaving the gate? But
Yeah,
other than
I'm
that, the
not a big
track's
fan of the
pretty
start
cool.
either. You
Yeah,
know, it's a very tight turn, and it's good for dirt bikes, but for quads it gets really
yeah.
really tight really fast, and yeah, I've had my fair share of crashes on that start.
That's not a good That's not a good thing. Hey, I want to thank you two very much for stepping in for Leon. You guys are welcome anytime. Anytime you have something to talk about, please reach out and we'll get you guys in. You know, if you want to join in on any of the race reports or the pre-race reports, please don't hesitate. Like I said, you guys are always welcome.